Good afternoon, traders. It is March 3rd, 5:12 p.m. Eastern Time. Welcome to another video with Digital Goats Academy. I'm your host, as always, Antoine Farrar, and welcome to my market overview. So I didn't get to push out a video. Actually, I did a video and realized that my Zoom wasn't recording from a session that I did with one of my business partners. So I literally did an entire session to push out, and I did not capture it, which is a good thing because the market did exactly the opposite of what I was projecting. So that's a good thing before I pushed out that content. But let's just look at the charts real quick. I'm not, well, one, this week is NFP. It's non-farm payroll. If you don't know what that is, get familiar with it, learn what it is. Really, even if you don't know like the intricacies of it, with dealing with non-farm payroll, you just want to make sure that either you're paying attention to like the news of the market or you're not even trading that day because it can get sporadic. Now, non-farm payroll takes place every Friday of the new month. So once you go into it has to go into the new month on Friday, right? So if it doesn't do it the previous week, the non-farm payroll would be the next week, but it would be the first Friday of every month. Okay, understand that. So we should look at some type of volatility. Maybe, to be honest, non-farm payroll hasn't been that violent since the beginning of January, really since December. So we'll see if this news actually changed the conditions of the market. Now, speaking of the conditions of the market, US 30 specifically. Well, let's look at the dollar, right? Let's look at the dollar first, and then we'll go into US 30. So the dollar again, if you've been following me, you see that I looked at the dollar and I said that the dollar was possibly bullish and going to push down to these certain levels. I think we may be here, but overall, like I already established, overall the dollar is bullish. What I was believing is that the dollar was going to come down and gain some correction, which it has. It has come down slightly, but it's come down within a previous resistance zone that we had. So I'm not all the way convinced that after with all these gaps, being introduced in the market, I'm not all the way convinced that we're ready to push down all the way down here, especially since we have all these gaps up here that the market has failed to retest. And really, when you look at these gaps are probably going to get blown through. You know what I'm saying? So the dollar looks like it's accumulating orders in order to push the market up high. Now, the one thing that if you follow Bloomberg, what they've been talking about and experts been talking about is that inflation is still here. Inflation is still a real thing. So I can see that still continuing to push the dollar index up. So we'll see probably this week if we get a bull candle to the upside. What I think was this was our first indication that the market is buying back up. And again, it's at that support structure, well, close to the support structure that we annotated, like, what was that, like a week ago, 2 weeks ago? But this was still an area of resistance that I had annotated since like last year. So price broke above that structure and now we're retesting it. And it does look like it's still trying to push down a little bit more to find true support. We may still push down to these levels, but I'm still not sure because the one thing that when the market opened up on yesterday is that it created was a gap if you didn't pay attention to. So the fact that it created a gap within a gap, that just brings that just, puts a red flag for me to say that, okay, if it's going to be attracted to this gap right here, if you see, I'll make it like a circle. Where is the circle? And let's like highlight it, I don't know, orange. Let's leave it white. All right. Do I like that? Let's just leave it black. That orange is messing with me. So there's a gap right here, right? If we scale in, we can see that when the market opened up yesterday for Sunday, it created a gap. Now, more than likely, the fact that it created that is that now that when the market pushes back up to this gap, more than likely it's going to push past it. It's not going to retest it and treat it as like some form of support. So this is actually good indication that, yeah, the inflation is still here. The market is still, well, the dollar is still bullish. I mean, it's not good news because that means inflation is still here to stay. But that's good news on the sense that, okay, well, if the dollar index is still going up, then we should look for those other currency pairs that we were talking about last week that pretty much bamboozled a lot of us actually going down, right? So this shows you like US 30 this morning, bearish, straight bear candle. Since basically 6 o'clock this morning, it opened up bearish. If you look at the daily time frame, or was that the weekly that we looked at? Now, here's where I personally start using my knowledge of patterns in the market. So this right here, right? What I expected the market to do was to break out of this area and then come back and retest. But the fact that it just this morning pushed a bear candle from this position up here, pushed a bear candle all the way down here, I'm thinking that we're going to the downside. I think that now US 30 is telling us that I'm looking to cool down a little bit. I've given out a lot of money, not to mention on the daily time frame / weekly, I've created a level of resistance. So we didn't know all the way up here, but now we know. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember we were looking for price to break up out of here, and we thought that price would push up from, well, no, after it broke up and sold down here, we were waiting to see if price was actually going to start buying up from here, which it tried to, it attempted to, but really all it's been doing is, you turn this to a line chart, it's been consolidating. The fact that it's been consolidating, oh yeah, this thing is pushing down. Now it could still consolidate within this zone, but for a fact, unless NFP changes the direction of the market, we should still see this market push down. We may have a pullback, somewhere up here to still bounce against the zone. But what's the one thing that I've always talked about before is that anytime you have consolidation after a move, no matter what form, this is the direction. So especially on a higher time frame, we're on a daily time frame. Let me clear some of this up. We're on a daily time frame, straight bear candle right here. And then the market started getting all choppy. All it's doing is correcting itself to keep going because it's not going to probably push back all the way up here. But the fact that it's consolidating means that, we're just accumulating orders to confuse people. We're going to continue to push down. More than likely, just based off of how this market is presenting itself, it's going to blow through this consolidation now. You know what I'm saying? Now that we have this level of support, and again, it will react to it. It probably will react to it. Maybe even, once we get more data pushing the market, like just for example, let's just hypothetically say this, right? Let's say the market still wants to push down. It pushes down. It comes down here. We're at support. It pushes down, and then it does one of these numbers. You see what I'm saying? So don't get so wrapped up into like, yes, the direction is down now until proven otherwise. The direction is down now, but don't get so wrapped up that you forget that the market will probably try to retest that area again. So this is good. This is good because again, we wanted a cool off. We did want a cool off. We didn't want the market to, because that, again, when I started trading, well, not when I started trading, when Trump won the elections and I saw how the market reacted to that, it just felt like this market was just playing people in order to take everybody's money. And that's what my expectation was overall. But again, I'm human and the market is going to manipulate me just like it manipulates anybody else and stuff. That's the whole reason why I emphasize just take your money, get back in the market. Take your money, get back in the market. Take your money, get back in the market. You can do that over and over, and you will probably make more money with some losses. you will probably make more money than you are holding it. You know what I'm saying? Unless your account is just like that. And again, primarily most of our accounts, well, primarily most of us are retail traders. So I don't think any of our accounts is like that. And even the person whose account is like that, I don't know if y'all heard before. I don't know if you traders heard before. I forgot what the guy's name was, but there was an individual that lost $1 million trading in the market. So really doesn't matter how much capital you have. This market will eat you alive if you have no respect for it. But this looks like the conditions of it. And again, once we get down here, we'll be able to establish what it's trying to do. I don't think it's going to react straight off of that. What I think it's going to do is push down lower and then pop up. But again, that's just me anticipating what may be, not what I'm thinking is exactly going to happen. So if it shows me that, I'm in a better position. But if not, obviously we'll still probably be continuing. I don't think that we're like bearish to the point where it's like you can say that US 30 is necessarily selling, but we'll figure that out after a while. And not to mention, wow, like once the market starts showing you more data, it's like you just start seeing stuff. Look at this over here. Can't really, somebody may have not, been paying attention to this, but what is all this over here? Our favorite person, consolidation. That's our favorite person, consolidation right here. Look where I drew this imaginary line down to. If it came down here, wouldn't that make sense to you? And again, I did say like 39K. So I do believe that US 30 will probably go to 39K for some reason. I do believe that. And then from there, I think it's bull moves out the yin yang. I don't think that US 30 is bearish to the point that will be considered a reversal. But for these moves on a higher time frame, oh yeah, these are good opportunities. You're talking about like potentially $1,000 within these moves and stuff just from holding it. Obviously, you want to make more, but just from holding it, you look at the potential of that. So that's what I'm looking at. Like with US 30, not to mention the same thing with S&P. S&P did bounce off of a zone that I previously had. But again, if you followed me, you know that overall I've been talking about is for the market to sell. True, I have been saying that the market is bullish and stuff. And based off of this information, it's been almost leading me to believe that it is bullish because it wasn't showing me no signs of bears in the market. But now I see signs of bears in the market. So we should have sellers trying to push these markets down to respectable levels in order to correct itself and then push the market to the upside. But we'll see. This is still consolidation on a, what is this, two week time frame? Yeah, there's still well, that's a good thing. How price is consolidating like this. Normally, when it consolidates like on a weekly time frame, again, this is where price is actually like breaking up out of here, and we shouldn't see the market return back here unless it wants to retest, or it's going to blow through it. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that it's creating this consolidation point in order to push the market down, and then whenever it finds its support, it's going to blow through that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so that's pretty much, that's pretty much it. Good thing oil's coming down. GU, that's what I was going to talk about. Well, yeah, obviously oil is still, call me crazy, but I think no, that I know what I was going to talk about. Call me crazy, but I think that oil is coming down to $25 now. I was convinced that we were going to go on a bull run again, and we did. We did go on the bull run that I anticipated, but I didn't realize that it was creating higher highs and higher lows and well, lower highs and lower lows. All right, lower low, lower high. Right here, lower low, lower high, and so forth and so forth. Y'all see? So it's basically creating a downtrend unless the market shoots a big bull candle out of nowhere, which I don't think that's happening, because we've been consolidating with oil for like, what is this? 4 years, 3 years? 4 years. 4 years we've been consolidating with oil, which is crazy to me. 4 years we've been consolidating. And I do think that we're at the point now where we're in a seller's market. And I do think that it's going to try to push it as low as 25. We probably will be at like 40, but I do think like $25, $20 is where oil could potentially push back down to US oil. I don't know where UK oil would be. I don't even really follow it like that. I just kind of keep it up as like just to see the differences between the two. Now, GBP USD, if the dollar is in fact bullish, that would void our weekly well, I wouldn't say it would void it. This is what I was anticipating anyway for a potential retest back at this zone. But looking at it right now, the one thing I established when I first did my first video for this year was the chart marking video. In the chart marking video, we looked at the overall move of GBP USD. Now that the bulls are in the market for the dollar and we're still talking about inflation, I think we've hit the maximum zone that GU wants to actually push up to. And I think we're about to start seeing bears in the market. That's going to break this. This is a selling pattern. Make no mistake. All this is a selling pattern. I just assume that the market may have tried to push back up here, which that's still very possible. But right now, currently, all this is still a selling pattern, and it has to create some form of support in order to push it higher. It hasn't really done that. The only thing it did was create like a swing low in this area, which you could almost assume that that's the push up, but we need some form of support. And now that we're looking at it on a monthly time frame, it doesn't look like we have support at that structure where it's the weekly. True, this was, some form of support right here, but when we look at it on a monthly, look at this wick right here. I can see the market pushing a candle to cover that wick and then bring the market back up. On the weekly, it's showing us support. So again, how do you identify support or resistance? 2 points of contact at a certain price line, all right? So you see 1, 2. That gave us what we were looking for. But as we see on the monthly time frame, it's not showing this picture, this image that we see. So what I'm thinking is that if we return back to the support structure, it's making the support structure weaker. So that means that more than likely it is still respected, once it comes back down, and then it'll blow through it after it's done like faking the test. You see what I'm saying? So I still do think that we're bearish overall. I did think that we were going to push a little bit higher, which it did. It covered that area that it moved from last week. So remember last week it dropped. It didn't seem like much, but depending on your lot size, that was a pretty big drop for a GBP USD. And then it popped back up pretty much today. So what I'm thinking that it's doing is that I'm thinking that it's basically collecting this liquidity that it left over because of that wick. And then now we're going to open up another candle after it's doing what it's doing, maybe even consolidate and push the market down. This is definitely something that, this is an order block right here. And this is potentially a selling order block. We'll go into order blocks later, but this is potentially a selling order block. So the candle should open up bullish and then want to push down after the market settles at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Well, that's when it reopens, but after it settles around 7 p.m., 7:30, we should start to see bearish momentum. If the dollar will have to open at 8 o'clock. So probably around 8:30, we might see what we're looking for. If not, the GU is definitely still going up. But like I said, I only looked at it to come to, it's still at that area. Excuse me. It's still at that area that we were looking at. So yes, it did pop because again, you're not going to be like sniper entry or exact, but it's still floating at our resistance and has yet to break away from it. So and there was a resistance zone up here. So I think that we're going to push this market down on the opposite side. All this structure just kind of seems flimsy to me. I know that probably doesn't make any sense to anybody, but it just seems flimsy to me. And not even that it's selling. I do believe that we're bullish until we get back down to this. Either we retest the previous high within GU, or we actually come back down to support and push away from it. So like I have to respect that on a weekly time frame, it did create structure of support, but I do have to look at currency pairs against it, which is the DXY and what the momentum of the dollar is doing. And the dollar is, they're screaming inflation. So if the dollar is still inflated, it should still go up, and GU should go down along with Euro USD, other currency pairs like what is it? Trying to think of the other USD pairs, like Forex, not indices. That doesn't have USD in the front. Well, either way, taking event that that doesn't promise that if USD is in the front that it's challenging the other currency pair like USD CAD, right? You know what I'm saying? United States dollar versus Canadian dollar. That's not necessarily saying that the dollar is bullish over the Canadian dollar, but the dollar could be definitely bullish over the British pound. You see what I'm saying? So make sure you pay attention to that stuff with you traders that are still trading Forex pairs, because I know how we see the indexes and we're like, oh man, the dollar's bullish, and you jump in UCAD and you're like, I'm buying, and then it starts selling out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Not realizing that the Canadian dollar is like way stronger than the US dollar. So that's just a little tip while I'm talking about it. Now let's get to the one thing that I did want to talk about. I think we're here now, finally. So again, a lot of us have been confused about the state of Bitcoin, but I think we're finally here where Bitcoin is actually looking to push down further. So I'm thinking that Bitcoin is actually going to push back into this consolidation structure. I hope it goes lower than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hope it goes lower than that. It looks like it might go lower than that. Back to that 40K area that I was looking at. So we'll see. You know, it's struggling to break through the 74K, but the momentum for bears is in the market. So sellers are in the market for cryptocurrency right now. I don't know what's going on, but I don't know if that has anything to do with the tariffs that Trump is doing against China. But this is bringing the value of specifically Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency tokens down. Which again, I see that as good news. You had to see the market when they announced that Trump won the presidency. Like the markets they just went bull. Like I've never seen that before. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I only have like 5 years, 6 years trading experience, but I've never seen that before all my years of watching the market. So that just threw a red flag, you know, in my head for me to be like, okay, even if we're still going up, let me pay attention to. And now that we have the structure that we're looking for, yeah, we're definitely heading down. How far down? You know, to be honest, if it wanted to come back to that 49K where it created a swing low, I think that maybe it will probably try to do that first. But again, you know, the consolidation portion first. So the previous high, the consolidation or into the consolidation pattern, which is this over here, where 74K, we're struggling to break out. That'll be our first zone where the market might try to stop and push back up, or it'll just stop, you know, start consolidating and get ready to push down. But bears are in the market. So really you should be selling, I wouldn't say, depending on your position within your crypto tokens, like if you're below all this structure, if you're below, like if you bought Bitcoin below 74K, I believe that you're okay. You don't have to worry about trying to sell your assets to find another position. But those that are like 74K and above, I mean, you might want to look to take profit if you're in profit. If you bought at 100K, you're kicking yourself in the butt. You know what I'm saying? So this goes into the whole point about like learning the structure of the markets, learning that even when the market breaks out, the foundation of the market has to come back and clean that up, retest, collect the profit, whatever you may think of. Look at it like this. The banks give out money in order to entice us. Then it comes and takes all that money back and some. Because what happens is that we get comfortable trading, right? You get comfortable trading, and you're having success, you're seeing profit, and then all of a sudden the market starts going against you. You wrap your mind that it's not going against you, and you continue trading in that same direction, and the market just wipes out everything you earned for that day or that week or maybe even that month. You see what I'm saying? So you have to pretty much train your mind to think exactly like how the banks are. Are the banks going to let any one of us just get rich without a fight? No, because if it was that easy, everybody and their mama be doing it. But everybody can't do this. You know what I'm saying? So it's more important for you as the skilled trader to recognize that stuff and understand like the conditions of the market have changed, but also because it's the beginning of the year, take your profit. Like we always emphasize, take your profit. But I'm excited because this does give investors another opportunity if we do go at 50K or below that. You know, that gives investors another opportunity to jump in cryptocurrency, which if it comes that low, I think that'll be the last time you get a chance to do that. I don't think within your lifespan, you know what I'm saying? Like within your lifespan. So I think it's important that people pay attention to it. Again, if you're in profit, maybe look to start taking profit and subsidizing your income elsewhere. You see what I'm saying? That's in a growing market, and then come back to crypto once it's settled and stuff. But again, if you're below like 50K, you might not be in jeopardy. You know what I'm saying? And again, even if it does, like the only way you're going to lose in investing in crypto or the stock market is if you sell your assets or that token or that stock gets delisted. And as far as cryptocurrency, I haven't seen anything get delisted. I know we had that one scare with XRP that made everybody question it. And then XRP, boom, what did it go to? $3, which is still good. You know what I'm saying? I think XRP is coming back to like $1 or something. Where is it at? Matter of fact, let's not even guess. Let's just look at it. So yeah, with that, yeah, really the way XRP looks, it looks more bullish than it does look bearish, to be honest. So again, remember I emphasize like the consolidation, consolidating up, consolidating down. So we should see this thing consolidate like this until it's ready to break up out of it. But the fact that it's consolidating up, we may get like a fake push to the downside to like, you know, which I mean, that would make sense. We may get like, you know, a push to $1.80 maybe, just because we have structure down here and then the market pushes up. But overall, XRP is bullish. So if anything, I would say, hey, start putting your investments towards XRP if you're skeptical about Bitcoin, depending on your entry. Like if you bought pretty high, yeah, you may want to take profit and distribute it elsewhere where one, the backlash won't help you if this thing does drop like pretty low. You know, with Bitcoin, the backlash should definitely hurt your account, depending on what you invested it with. So yeah, XRP, it's already come down. My expectations is that it's going to probably bounce between this range, maybe even creating like a new form of structure. Could go lower. So let's say until we get more data that the market tries to bounce between this zone before pushing up. But it should push up from here after it's done consolidating and maybe like one fake out, and then that'll be the push to the upside. Again, cryptocurrency is still new information, and even with technicals, the data is still new. So it could do something that we're definitely not expecting. But I will, as the year goes on, talk more about XRP because I see it as probably the better option out of all the crypto tokens outside of like Litecoin and Ethereum. But to be able to take advantage of it at its low cost and, you know, build your portfolio up as XRP continues going up, because what if XRP could hit numbers like at least like Ethereum, you know, Well, that would be a long way. Wow, that would be a long way. Even it going to $30 would be a field day from here. So, you're not late. You're not early, but you're not late either. So just don't have FOMO like everybody else and feel like they're missing out and put their whole house on cryptocurrency, and then crypto pulls back and you lose a lot of your profit. I mean, you lose a lot of the your balance that you put in there because you just didn't want to miss out and stuff. I get it, but understand these markets do have corrections, so they will do that. But this is good news because this gives investors another opportunity to buy in, which will induce the market to go even higher. So if more people buy at like 50, 40K, 65K, and that market is going to probably push to, I don't know what that gentleman name was, but probably to 700,000, which is kind of insane to me. But I mean, here we are. You know what I'm saying? Like Bitcoin hit 100,000. Like here we are. So this is the new world that we're heading into. So pay attention to this stuff. And definitely make sure you subscribe on my channel so you can keep paying attention to this stuff. But that's all I got for everyone today, traders. Obviously, if you're on Discord, I'll meet with you Tuesday, and all my family that views me on YouTube, you'll get this video probably about like Wednesday or Thursday once I scrub some things. But yeah, thank you guys for your participation. We are getting the views up, so I'm excited about that. Keep them coming. We do need that subscription button hit. We do need that subscription button hit. Also, it would go a long way if y'all start commenting on anything that's, whether it's good or bad. I'm indifferent. So, I need the balance of both. I need the balance of what I'm doing good, but also what I'm doing bad so I can improve on. But like I always said, appreciate everybody's participation. I will see everybody tomorrow. I hope everybody has a successful trading week. You have to start off the week by saying, I will have a phenomenal trading week. Even if the market crushed you last week or the week before or last month, there's always a way to make the money back and some. So don't get discouraged just because maybe you got punched in the face last week. It's a new week. It's a new day. Thank God, right? But I'll catch you traders on our next video of Digital Goats Academy. Again, I hope everybody is careful. And again, make sure that that you pay attention that it's non-farm payroll week. So if you see the market start acting sporadic, it is non-farm payroll week. See you later, traders.